Well, I saw an article the other day saying that New South Wales will have 5 fullbacks in their back line, that they'll all be there.
How many have you got in your back line,
Which is a chance. I picked my... You know what, if he keeps playing well, that's one position for the Blues the past 2 or 3 years. They've had fullbacks in the centres. And last year, it bit him on the backside by 2 defensive errors, both sides of the field. One by Kirk Capel as normally a back rower. So that's one position that is up for grabs for the likes of Bradman Best, you know, Zach Lomax. If they can play good week in, week out, maybe they're a year or two off at the moment, but that's a position coming up in the future for the Blues that's well and truly open because you've had fullbacks play there the last couple of years. And I did pick him in my team at the moment.
Well, we've compiled your backlines for the Blues for Origin 1. Who wants to show their cards first?
I don't care. Throw them up there.
Let's do it, Gal. Let's get yours up there to see who he believes. 1 through 7.
Tedesco picks himself. Addo-Carr picks himself. Tommy Turbo, if he's fit, I've got to have him in the side. If not, Gutho.
Sitting on the fence.
Latrell. Well, is he fit or not?
So,
is he not fit?
Right, so Turbo. Let's say Turbo's fit.
If I'm picking the side today, I'm having Gutho in the side. If Turbo's fit today and playing this weekend, I'm picking Turbo in front of him. Latrell Mitchell. Fergo, I think Fergo's hitting some form again. He's going pretty good the first 2 rounds. Jack Whiten, and Cleary. I think they pick themselves there. I think it's a big, strong back 7.
If Luke Keary is playing the football that he played yesterday, you don't...
No, I like big 5'8" in Origin, big bodies, big runners of the ball.
I agree.
I wouldn't call Keary a runner like Jack Whiten, but if anything was happening to Jack Whiten or Cleary, then Keary would be there. But I just think Jack Whiten, he was the Dalian Player of the Year last year. He's won medals in grand finals. I just think he needs his chance at 5'8".
How many fullbacks you got in your Blues back line, Gus?
Only one.
Just one.
Tedesco. Tesco fullback. I like Campbell Graham as a future Origin player on the wing. Stephen Crichton. Now, I would put him on the right side. I know he plays left for Panthers, but he played all his junior football on the right-hand side. Big, tall, strong kid, and he's going to be an Origin player of the future. Latrell Mitchell in the centres. I still believe that's his position. Addo-Carr. And I've gone with Whiten and Cleary, and if I had to have that combination, I would have Keary on the bench during the game.
That's a bit of a clean out there.
You got a bowler there.
Too. Yeah.
Well, they did get beaten last year by the worst Queensland side in history, was it, Paul?
When you were New South Wales coach...
I never said that, Gus. Right?
Who did say that?
It was bloody Reedy. Not Reedy, so it was Bulldog. It was Bulldog Richie. So he's actually off me. He thinks I took his thunder. He thinks I stole his thunder.
When you were New South Wales coach, were you loath to pick players out of position?
I didn't like it. But to be fair, I didn't have to very often.
Well, what about Stephen Crichton? He's a lefty. I know you just said he played all his junior football.
Played all his junior football at right.
But he's played all his senior football on the left.
No, mate. He's a very special kid, mate.
Yeah, I agree. He's an outstanding player. And I wouldn't argue with him.
And he's perfect for Origin because he's a target for the high ball. He's a very, very good defender. He's a strong runner. He likes to get involved. And I'm looking at a team of the future there. I think Latrell Mitchell's the centre. I think Tedesco at fullback. Addo-Carr picks himself. And I'm looking for a winger. I could easily go with Blake Ferguson because I like big, strong wingers. But I just thought, well,
would you ever consider throwing Ryan Pappenhausen on a wing, or if in that 17 is he a bench player?
No. Look, I think as a 14 to have him on the bench for sure. I think he would have been there last year had he been fit. But Origin's a different game. You need such big, strong. Most of the game is played between the try line and the 20 or 30 metre line. You just constantly end-to-end trucking it out of trouble, and your back 5 gets you set started.
Yeah.
They would have loved him to be coming off the bench in Game 3 last year, Gus. Would you have him on the bench in your side today?
Well, I'd have him or Keary on the bench. Probably Keary because it just covers a few more positions.
I'd have him at fullback.
You can't pick him at all.
If Tedesco was out, you'd almost have him at fullback.
Well, it depends on Trbojevic. If Trbojevic was right, I'd have him in front of Pappenhausen. I love Pappenhausen. He's a wholehearted effort player. His game the other night was just as good as Gutherson's. Like, he ran for so far, he put his body on the line, he tried his heart out all night, but it's all physicality with him. It's all physicality and effort and physicality and effort. But Origin, I don't know. Coming off the bench, maybe, but if I had to start with a fullback that wasn't Tedesco, it would be Trbojevic if he was fit.
Okay, done. That's nice to talk. I actually really enjoyed talking Origin this early. Should we do it next week as well?
Next week too.
Does that mean we don't have to
do it for another? We only pick 1 to 7 tonight. We've probably got to pick the rest of the team.
Yeah, once you get the ball rolling.
We're struggling for forwards, mate.
Okay,
if they don't think about it.
Next week it is.
If they don't think carefully about it.
See,
You
that's
seem
going
to
to
be
be
saying a
next
lot.
week's show, Gus. You don't want to talk Origin. You're throwing things like that out. We're talking Origin next week.
Don't pick your
I
team
guarantee
too early. You know there's going to be injuries, suspensions, and something's going to happen. And
I think we might be a bit thin up front though, Gus.
Eh?
Bit thin.
I think we're a bit thin in a couple of positions. We've just got to think about that.
Okay. Might have to talk about it next week. You're watching 100%.